All right, hello everyone. My name is Stader. I just want to say thank you to everyone, most especially to all the organizers here for this wonderful TEDx in Nanjing, and everyone for coming out. So today I'm going to talk for about 18 minutes about the library project and about two very specific things. The first thing is the history of it. The history of the organization, I think, was really interesting because it was started by a bunch of normal people like me, and our first year was very, very difficult. And I'm going to spend most of my time talking about the first year, and then I'm going to talk about where we are today and how we've changed and what some of our results are, and then also how everyone can get involved if you'd like to. So let's go back in time to 2006. It all started with a very, very, very simple idea. And this simple idea was to improve the education that was found at two orphanages in Dalian, in the Liaoning province. And we started off with doing a book collection of Chinese language children's books. We collected them through 6 local English language schools that catered to Chinese students. So we raised about 6,000 Chinese language children's books, and then we put them into 2 orphanages. And the first one is this one right here. We also provided the book shelving, the tables, globes, plants, lighting. And what we found was at this first orphanage that the kids just gravitated to it. The orphanage didn't have a TV, didn't have anything. The kids just kind of jumped in, and it was their hangout spot where all the kids would go to do their homework, to talk to all the other kids that were there, which is really wonderful. The next one was a little children's shelter. This shelter had 30 children off and on throughout the year, and they had an empty room. We also put about 3,000 books in there. There's also more books right here, so it's quite a small room. But has one table in there, some really comfortable chairs for the kids to hang out in. And that was our first 2 libraries. These were our first volunteers, all my friends that helped out. Now, after we donated the first 2 libraries, I then got another job. So I wasn't doing this full time. I actually had a real job. And I got a job down in Vietnam making video games, which was also quite fun. But on the weekends and after work and before work, I also continued to donate libraries. People kept sending me money. Kept sending me $10, $5, $100, and I would just buy some books and bring them to some locations. Let me show you some of those. The first one was an elementary school. This was right down the street from my office that I worked in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. This is an HIV/AIDS clinic that was very rural outside of Ho Chi Minh. It catered to about 10 HIV positive adults. We donated to a number of orphanages, and this was one of those orphanages, and a women's shelter down in the Mekong Delta, down at the very southern part of Vietnam. Now, this is where like a turning point happened in my life, and also in an organization that I wanted to start. Someone decided to give me 10,000 US dollars, which at that time was a lot of money. I was like, wow. Thank you. That's a lot of books. So I was pretty excited about that. I decided to quit my job, and I decided to do this full time because I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved making video games, but I also really got enjoyment and passion. Like our first speaker was talking about passion. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I enjoy it. So I decided to quit my job and do it full time. Now, a big question came up. Where do I start? Do I start in China or in Vietnam? And it was a really difficult decision because I'm sitting in Vietnam, but I personally love China. And I had And I also love Vietnam, but I love everyone. It's just, I decided at that point to go back to China. One of the big reasons was there was a lot of support. I still had a lot of friends in China, and we got one of our first offices for free, which was great because I only had $10,000. So I didn't have, I only had about 60,000 renminbi. So a little bit of a risk. Then 2007, the beginning of the organization. And this is how I kind of started the organization. I then moved the organization to Xi'an. I hired my first employee right here. This is Jenny Wong. She was our first employee. And the first thing that we did was we went out and we looked for poor schools, okay? And we found a lot of schools that looked like this. This was what we found most of the time. We then decided to name the organization, and we thought we'd keep it really simple. I like simple things. So we called it the Library Project. You can't get much more simple than that. And then even the Chinese name, Tushu Guanjiwa. I mean, it's very simple. Then we came up with a mission statement. So what do we do? And this is very, very, very important. And our mission statement is the Library Project donates books and libraries to underfinanced schools and orphanages in the developing world. It gave us scale. We said the developing world. So not just China, but everywhere in the world that's developing. And also, we wanted to keep focus. We wanted to also keep focus. Books and libraries. Books and libraries. We don't want to donate schools. We don't want to donate basketballs and sporting equipment. Only books and libraries. So keeping it very focused. The next thing, we came up with a great logo. One of my very good friends designed this. It's bright, it's positive, it's simple. And then we started donating libraries. And our first library went into a school with about 200 students. We donated tables, chairs, bookshelves, Chinese language children's books, and this is what it looks like. Well, that's actually a truck with a bunch of stuff in it. This is our first truck that we rented, and it has everything that's a library and a truck. And that's an empty room, and that's what it looks like. So this is our first library in 2007. So everything you see here we donated. Everything from, well, everything except for the children. We didn't donate the children or the adults. The adults are, they came for free. Our second library was the next day, which was this library right down the street. And then also our third library the following day, so 3 libraries in 3 days, was this tiny, tiny library that went into individual classrooms of the school. Now, we had some great results. We had a really good first few months, and everyone was really excited about this. But there was a turning point, and we're going to talk about that turning point. Soon after our first 3 donations, we ran into 2 big problems, huge problems that no organization ever wants to experience. All right? We ran out of money. So we spent all of our money. We spent all our money on books, tables, and chairs. I hired an employee. We had a free office, but we ran out of all of our money. This was a really big problem. The second problem was even bigger than the first problem, was we couldn't find the poor schools. This is not a poor school. This school has 10,000 books. So we couldn't find them. So this was a real problem. So how did we solve these problems? Well, we did a fundraiser in Shanghai. And it was a real success. It was really a small fundraiser. We had about 60 people come out from the Smith School of Business. It's from the Maryland University. They called us up on the phone and saved our organization. Amazing people. And we raised 40,000 RMB. So what did we do with this money? We took 3 huge risks. The first risk was we needed infrastructure. We needed a home base. So we got an office. All right? So the first risk was to rent an office space. The second risk was we needed help. We needed more people to help us. So we hired Belinda, who was our second employee. And our third risk was we went looking for the poor schools. We had to find these poor schools. We all believed they were there, but we didn't know where they were. So here we are. And we found the school up there, literally. And it was a hike going up there. We had to take a boat, and we had to take a truck and a train, 2 trains. And it was an adventure, and it was awesome. And I'm going to tell you about it now. So we found a school called the Liu Lin Elementary School. And this is the Liu Lin Elementary School. It has 60 students, 5 teachers, grades kindergarten, 1st grade to 6th grade. So it's a small primary elementary school. When we arrived, we were blown away because even though we were looking for the poor schools, you never want to find a poor school. That's not something you want to find. But when we found it, we were excited because we knew that we could make an impact at this school. We knew that we could make a change, a positive change. So Belinda jumps into the classroom. She was a teacher, and she started working with the kids, finding out what kind of books they like to read. Do you like to read comic books? Or do you like to read a math book? Do you like to read the Powerpuff Girls? Or do you like to read Disney books? And we got a good list of what they wanted. We then assessed their classrooms. We assessed their current library that they had. And then we left. And we went home. And then what I did was that evening, I sent an email out with 1 photo. And this is the photo. And that's me. This is the local government up there. This is our team. And this is a whole bunch of kids right there. And I said, we need, how much was it? We need 6,000 renminbi to donate 500 books to this school. And within 1 day, we raised 6,000 renminbi. 1 day, which is amazing. We then started planning. And then we returned. And we got our second truck. And this was donated by the local government, that little truck. We put 2 bookshelves and a bunch of books and boxes in the back. Then we got to the boat. We loaded the boat up. And then we unloaded the boat. And here's our problem. So we've got 500 books, 2 bookshelves, a globe, a couple plants, training course, and we only had like 5 people. So our big problem was how do we get all this stuff that's like right here, up here? And the solution we came up with was we had the kids come down and ask for some help. I'll be honest with you, I'm a really lazy person. So the kids came down and they brought baskets. We filled up the baskets, put the baskets on the kids' back. That is a 6th grader, not a 1st grader. So it's an older kid. And we all walked up the mountain. And this right here, this is probably one of my favorite slides of the entire presentation. This is our process. And in a lot of ways, this library defined who we are today. This is the one library that we learned the most out of. We learned that in every library donation, we need our team involved. We need our donors and volunteers to get involved. We need the parents and the community to get involved. We need local government, Board of Education, and the students. We need a huge party. Because if you get everyone involved, then that will ensure that the library you donate will be used on a daily or a weekly basis. It's not a rule. All right? No children die. All right? We have a no child dying policy at the Library Project. And this is a short little video. And also the adults are carrying the bookshelves, not the children. This is our small library we donated. This is 500 Chinese language children's books, a globe and a planet. It's a huge impact at the school. It integrates right into the classroom. This is what we call today a reading corner. It goes into small schools that don't have room for a library. The kids dive right in. This is what I love about our libraries. They're kid size. They're really small. You know, the bookshelves are only this big. There's no doors on them. They can just dive right in and get into trouble. Dive into the books. The books that we provide, this is a good example. Pinyin books for younger learners on the left, and on the right, that famous blue cat that everyone likes in China. The kids love it. That's why you ask the children what they want to read. Why we do this? We like happy kids, and it improves the education. We're a really simple organization, very, very simple. And also, kids like to wear books as hats. It's also really important. Now, this is our first librarian training course. I'll be honest with you, our first libraries weren't used very often. They weren't used very often. We would donate those first 3 libraries and they weren't used. Why? We didn't teach them how to use the library. They didn't have one. So ever since we started doing these librarian training courses, the libraries are used on a daily or a weekly basis, 95% of the time. I'm really happy about that. We have a simple contract, and this is our team that day, which is great. Now, that was the first year. First year was incredibly difficult. We lost, we ran out of money many times, just like any other organization or company that starts. We had many challenges that first year. But now, 5 years later, I think we're doing pretty good. Now let's talk about today. What is the library project today? So as of today, we've donated 760 rural elementary school libraries in 23 provinces in China and in Vietnam, which is really exciting. That's more than I ever thought we would have done. Now, over the past 4 months, we've donated 166 libraries. That's 1.3 libraries every day. That's just incredible. I never thought that we would have been able to do that. And I think the reason for that is because we have such a great team, but we also have an incredible set of donors and volunteers that help us out. And this is our team right here. I know they're all women. Sorry. Women work harder than men. Don't tell the men. But to be completely honest, with CVs, if we get 100 CVs, 99 of them are women. Men just simply don't apply for nonprofit work, and I don't know why that is. So men, apply. I'm all alone. So that's me. I'm the executive director. Now these 4 people here, we have the country director, the fundraising director, logistics and purchasing, and our program director. So what does this mean? She's in charge of the country and the direction of our organization. She's in charge of finding the money, she's in charge of spending the money, and she's in charge of making sure that our donors and our volunteers have a great quality experience, and also getting these libraries into these schools. So that's our directors of the organization. And then we have, hold on. And then we also have other staff. So fundraising manager, logistics and purchasing, project manager, and our assessment specialist who helps try to find these libraries. But I want to also point out one thing. I don't actually run a lot of the organization. They do. And I'm running out of time. I'm at 19 minutes, so I'm going to blaze through this in 30 seconds. All right, so we donate 3 kinds of libraries. Reading room, it's a big library. So we've really improved our libraries that we've donated. Our small libraries are reading corners. They go into really small schools. And our book donation program goes into much larger schools. We've really got our programs down. We're donating a library a day. We should have over 900 libraries by the end of the year. We're in China in 23 provinces, and also in Vietnam down in the south. And we're in the south of Vietnam. We should, by the end of the year, have a total of over 500,000 books donated throughout China. So that's a huge milestone for the organization and for me personally. I'm quite happy about it. And we'll have reached over 300,000 children. Our library and training course is really improved, which is wonderful. And we donate local language books. Vietnamese language for Vietnam, Chinese language for China. Educational toys, globes. We always have a globe in every library globe. Great partners, great partners. We're incredibly lucky. And for our government partner, the China Population Welfare Foundation, they're a great organization. You guys should look into them. They're one of the best government agencies out there in China. And a great annual report, a lot of numbers and pie charts. Getting involved, a lot of companies get involved. Employee involvement is also huge, a big reason why they get involved. People can adopt a library. Book collections, if any of your schools would like to get involved, we also do that. We're always looking for new books. And volunteers. Anyone here or any of your friends want to volunteer, we need your help. We have a lot of libraries to get out there and see kids. Thank you very much.